switch statements. Okay, so we can apply while, do while, for switch statements. Okay, so whenever we want to stop for a particular condition, whenever loop can be iterated, for example, I less than or equal to 10, okay, 10 less than or equal to 10, loop can be iterated. Okay, so in that situations, we want to stop for a particular condition, particular statements, then we can use break statement. Okay, so we want to exit, we want to stop for a particular condition, particular statements, we can apply break statements. Okay, so next one, syntax. Here syntax is a break. Okay, so break statements can be classified into two types: unlabeled break statements and labeled break statements. So I will explain one by one. So coming to the unlabeled break statements. So what is the syntax break? So here example. Okay, for example, for initialization. So it is initialization. So it is condition. Okay, initialization, condition. So increment or decrement. Okay, so next one, for body, it is the for body. So here for loop can be iterated. Okay, here k equal to 1. So 1 less than or equal to 10, 2 less than or equal to 10, 3 less than or equal to 10, and so on, 10 less than or equal to 10. Okay, so here 10 times for loop can be iterated. So for loop can be iterated until the condition becomes true. So whenever condition becomes false, okay, so control switches to the after loop statements. What are the statements available? After looping statements, those statements could be executed. For example, okay, if k equal to 5 break. Okay, so in which situation we can use break statement? Okay, so whenever we want to stop for a particular condition, so in those situations we can use break statement. Okay, here if k equal to 5 break. Okay, so if k 1 less than or equal to 10, so condition true. So here system.out.println, so it displays on 1 on result plus 2 less than or equal to 10. So condition is true. Next k value can be incremented. So 2 is displayed. Okay, so 2 value is displaying on the console. Okay, displays 2 value on the console. Okay, next one 3 less than or equal to 10, condition is true. So it is displaying on the console. Okay, next one 4 less than or equal to 10. So condition is true. Whenever condition becomes true, okay, so it is displaying 4 on the console. Okay, next if k equal to 5 break. Okay, so whenever control executes, okay, so these statements, if k equal to 5 break. Okay, so only what is the output you have to get in 1, 2, 3, 4. So after fifth statement, whenever it is under execution, okay, so if k equal to 5, so we can stop the iteration of for loop. Okay, so whenever we want to stop for a particular condition, particular statements, then we can use break statement. Okay, so actually for loop can be iterated 10 less than or equal to 10 onwards. But whenever the process is under execution, 5 less than or equal to 10, so it stops the execution. Only in the console it displaying on the values 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it is unlabeled break statements. Next one, coming to the labeled break statements. Okay, so to break out nested structures. So to break out of nested structures. Nested structures means so one structure we can place with another structure. It is also known as nested structures or nested loops. Okay, so within one loop we can write. Okay, so another loop, it is also known as nested structures. Okay, one loop within another loop is known as nested structures or nested loops. Okay, to break out nested structures, we can use label statements. So we can use outer loop and inner loops. So we can break out both inner and outer loops. Then that situations we can use labeled break statements in Java programming. Okay, so it is whenever we can applying those statements. Whenever we are writing looping statements, while, do while, and for statements. Okay, so it causes immediate exit from the structure. Okay, so break means immediate exit from the structure. Okay, so whenever we want to stop for a particular condition, particular statements, then we can use break statements. Okay, so whenever we can apply the break statements, it causes immediate exit from the structure. Okay, so on any number of enclosing repetitive structures, for example, it may be any number of, for example, I value can be iterated 100 times also, 200 times also, any number of repetition, it is no matter. So whenever we can apply the break structure, it causes immediate exit from the loop. Okay, so I will explain with respect to the example. So here, okay, so here out is the keyword. Okay, I am mentioning out keyword. Okay, so out for int I equal to 1, k less than or equal to 10, I less than or equal to 10, I plus plus. Okay, so next one system dot out dot println outer, it is the outer loop. Okay, so I am writing for loop. Okay, so with one for loop, okay, inside another for loop. Okay, so I am writing one loop inside another loop. It is also called as nested structures and nested loop. Okay, so one loop within another loop. One loop within another loop is called nested structures or nested loops. Okay, so here for int j equal to 1, j less than or equal to 5, j plus plus. Okay, system dot out dot println nested. Okay, so here if j equal to 3, break out. Here j equal to 3, break out. Okay, so for example, okay, so first of all I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 10, I plus plus. So first it prints on the outer. In the console, first it prints on the outer. So next one, here system dot out dot println, it prints on nested. But okay, so if j will be iterated in 5 times. Okay, so j 1 less than or equal to 5, 2 less than or equal to 5, 3 less than or equal to 5, 4 less than or equal to 5, 5 less than or equal to 5. Okay, so 1 less than or equal to 5, 2 less than or equal to 5, 3 less than or equal to 5, 4 less than or equal to 5, 5 less than or equal to 5. So it prints on 5 times. But whenever, so I want to exit for a particular condition and particular statements, if j equal to 3, so break out. Okay, so here it can print nested it 2 times only. Okay, so if j equal to 3, so I am break out. So for example, okay, so I can't use out keyword in this programming. So what will happen? Okay, so it stops the inner loop, but outer loop will be continued. Okay, so I am not applying out keyword at the beginning of the program. So at the beginning of for loop, okay, so what will happen? Okay, so only inner for loop stops its execution. Only inner for loop stops its execution. Only inner for loop stops its execution. But outer for loop will be continued. Only inner can stop its execution, outer for loop can be continued. Okay, so I am applying out keyword. Okay, so I want to stop both inner for loop and outer for loop. So in this way, I am applying out keyword beginning of the for loop, and here I am applying breakout. Okay, so I am not applying out keyword at the beginning of the for loop. Okay, so just inner for loop can stop its execution, but outer for loop will continue its execution. Okay, so I want to stop both inner for loop and outer for loops. That's why I am mentioning out keyword. Okay, so any keyword out is not a mandatory, so you can apply any keywords in our Java programming. Okay, so let's continue with the continue statement. Okay, so here continue statement. Okay, so in break statements, so whenever we want to exit for a particular statement, particular condition, so we can use break statement. Okay, for coming to the continue statements, whenever we can continue with a particular statements. Okay, for example, if I equal to 3, continue. Only in the third statement can skip. Okay, after remaining statements, those statements could be executing. Okay, that is the importance of continuous statements. Okay, so it can be applying while, do while, and other statements. Okay, so the statements to skip the remaining statements, the body of the structure and proceeds with the next iteration of the loop. Only those statements can be skipped and the next statements can be executed. So it can be used in 2 ways, in similar way to break statements. Okay, unlabeled continue and labeled continue statements. Okay, so for example, So coming to the unlabeled continue statement, what is the syntax continue? Here continue is the keyword. So coming to the example, here for int k equal to 1, k less than or equal to 10, k plus plus. Okay, here k value starting from 1 onwards, here 1 less than or equal to 10. So it checks the condition 2 less than or equal to 10, 3 less than or equal to 10 and so on, 10 less than or equal to 10. Okay, so the loop will be iterated until the condition becomes true. So if condition becomes false, immediately the control passes to the next statement. What are the statements available in after for loop? Those statements could be executing. So here if k equal to 5, so it is the body of for loop. Okay, so here I can check the condition. If k equal to 5, continue. Okay, so it checks the condition one by one. So 1 less than or equal to 10. Is it true or false? True. Okay, so displaying on the value 1. So next it checks the k value can be incremented. Next k value 2. So again checks the condition. So 2 less than or equal to 10. Is it true or false? True. Okay, so displaying on the value 2. Next one 3 less than or equal to 10. Is it true or false? True. So displaying 3. Okay, next k value can be incremented. K value 4. Here 4 less than or equal to 10. Okay, so 4 condition becomes true. So displaying on the value 4. Okay, so here 5 less than or equal to 10. Okay, is it true or false? True. But if k equal to 5, so I am applying continuous statements. Whenever we want to continue for a particular statement, particular condition, then we can use continuous statements. Only 5 can be skipped. After 5, remaining iterations can be executed. Okay, after 5, so remaining for loop can be iterated. Only 5 can be skipped. Okay, so next one 6 less than or equal to 10, condition becomes true. Next one 7 less than or equal to 10, 8 less than or equal to 10, 9 less than or equal to 10, 10 less than or equal to 10. Condition becomes true, so those values can be printed on the console. Next one, for example, I can check 11 less than or equal to 10. Is it true or false? False. Then immediately control passes to the next statement. What are the statements available in after for loop? Those statements could be executing. So this is continue statement. Okay, next one. Coming to the labeled continue statement. Okay, so the labeled continue statement, it is also a repetition structure. So we can apply in nested structures. Okay, so nested structures means within one structure, so we can write another structure. So within one loop, we can write another loop. Okay, it can be either while loop, for loop, do while loops, or any loops. It can be applying on any loops. Okay, coming to the example. Okay, so here in same way, so we can apply out keyword. I am not applying out keyword. Okay, so just I want to stop. I want to continue only inner for loop. Okay, but outer for loop will be continued. It does not be skipped. Okay, so that's, for example, inner and outer for loops both are skip. I want to skip both inner and outer loops. That's why I am applying keyword. So if I am not applying these keywords, only inner for loop can be skipped, outer for loop can be continued. Okay, in the same way. So that's why I am applying out keyword. So here int I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 10. So for loop can be iterated until condition becomes true. Okay, so system.out.println outer. So int j equal to 1, j less than or equal to 5, j plus plus. Here I am writing another for loop. It is the nested for loop. One for loop can be placed with another for loop. One for loop can be placed with another for loop is called nested for loop. Okay, system.out.println nested. If j equal to 2, okay, continue out. Okay, so only 2 statements can be skipped. Okay, so remaining statements as the same way. So continue with the process. Only 2 can be skipped. Okay, so it is the labeled. Okay, so continue statement. Okay, so I am not applying the out keyword. Okay, what will happen? Only inner for loop can be skipped, outer for loop can be continued as the same process. So I want to continue both inner for loops and outer for loops. So I am applying the keyword. Okay, so without out keyword, you want to try to execute the program. Okay, so as you can see, what is the difference between without applying the keyword and with applying the keywords? So what is the difference between labeled and unlabeled statements? So you can execute these statements. Okay, so you can execute these 2 programs, then only you can easily understand. So what is labeled, what is unlabeled. So if I am applying out keyword, what will happen? What is the output I am getting? So I am not applying out keyword at the beginning of the for loop. What is the output I am getting? Okay, so you can execute these programs, then only you can easily understand. Okay, so this is about control statements in Java programming. Okay, so this is about control statements in Java programming. Okay.